Hey guys, my name is Kylo. Welcome back to another Satisfactory video, where we get to turn this pile of concrete into an actual building. I'm not going to waste too much time, so let's get right into the video. Now, the first thing I want to show you is the progress on making the roof here. I'm using some of the similar aspects that we used for the fuel plant build. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But it is going to be different, so just stay tuned. I started placing these beams down to try to get an idea of what the roof might feel like. But now I'm thinking we probably need to get a wall right here. So let's get that done. Okay, and right here I have just replicated the wall that we had over here on the same side, just over here. Now, it's not fully done because I need to figure out a blending method for the little square we got over here for the future space elevator. So this might have to change, but you can kind of see that I started placing some more of the roof as well. And I think you can see how this roof will be different, but still have some of the same design concepts of the fuel plant. Instead of having a linear roof going one way with beams and tar ceiling tiles on there, we're gonna have a cross section roof like this. And I'm not set on the design of the cross beams being too thick, just because the farther you look down it, the less you'll actually see of the texture of the roof, and I kind of don't really like that. There's a good chance we'll delete these down to only one thick instead of two thick. And then for filling in the open space, I'm probably just going to use glass, and I think that'll look pretty good. You can see I did a little test run right here. But there's a lot to do for this episode, so let's get on to the next part. And just a quick second later, most of the roof is done. I haven't finished all of the glass, but you kind of get the idea of what it'll look like. And so I think you guys can see the difference between the last clip and this one, of you can see the glass much further down with only having one foundation deep on the cross section, and I think it looks a lot better. And if you guys are unaware, everything on this build has been live streamed on Twitch. If you guys want to see anything done live or actually have your input be taken into account and help build this, you can go check out the stream. I'll have the name of my Twitch in the description and at the end of the video. Something I like about it is that I get the live feedback of the builds, and somebody in Twitch chat actually agreed with me and gave me the idea to cut it down to one instead of too thick on the cross, and I think it looks much better. But now that we have some more walls, we should probably start filling up this area with train stations, because Lord knows we're going to need them. Alright, and just a little bit later, I've mapped out where all the train stations need to be in this interior train station, and I did leave room over here for our future power / command room, whatever we want to call it. Will be right here. Okay, and after a little while of work, kind of come up with this blueprint, and again we're trying to stick true to the everything is made out of blueprints on this build as much as possible. You see I made a couple different blueprints to kind of fill in this area. I think I said it in the last episode, but I was wanting to use those beams to kind of let some light through on the interior of the building still, so it kind of blends an exterior and interior for this build, because this will all be walled off for the production as well, and this will be hopefully plenty of room for trucks to move through, and I do think it looks actually kind of cool, so we're probably going to keep this. The one issue is trying to figure out how to blend this area in with the rest of the build. That has been the hardest and most challenging part of this build so far, is blending all of the angles. Okay, and this is kind of what we've cooked up on stream over the past little bit, and this is one of the lanes for our storage, and we just made up a little blueprint with a couple signs on the inside. And again, we are designing the whole factory with lumen in mind, and that is kind of paying dividends actually, because I'm having a lot of fun with this. I got this really interesting kind of glowing effect on the roof just from these signs here, and it works actually better with the normal concrete, so we're probably going to continue to use that instead of the coated concrete on this side, because you get the harsh shimmering reflection. But between it playing with different designs and colors, I kind of came up with this pink purple-esque, along with the white from the lights obviously, to be able to see when we're walking down, because if we take out these ceiling lights here, it kind of gets really dark, and the sunlight does help lighting up this area, but obviously we have a lot of lighting to do in this whole build because it is kind of big, much bigger than I thought it would be, so we still have a long ways for that. But I wanted to showcase kind of what we've been working on and maybe a color theme for the build. Okay, and jumping over to our production floor where we have all of our parts being made and whatnot, we have this open space still that we'll have to deal with eventually. This area, which we had more room for production than we probably needed, and that's being repurposed for truck lanes, like I talked about last episode. So the idea is that we'll have truck stations in here, kind of consuming at least some of the items that we're bringing in from our train stations from the future, and we'll open up this wall and we'll start having them go down the line and ending over on the other side of the building where they kind of meet up and can deposit into a logistic line to go into storage over here. But I just wanted to show that we did open up that area kind of refixed the walkways a bit and are kind of setting ourselves up for success over there. And the other thing is I have started throwing in the materials into the logistic line to kind of flush out the inventory of the machines and whatnot. As you can see, we're starting to get items into our storage. And something else, our storage lights are not done yet. I haven't finished those. They will be done eventually, just not quite yet. But I did start adding some of the items into symbols, although I'll probably change the background to black because white is really hard to see actually, these items. So we'll need to switch that up. But yeah, we finally are actually storing our items that we're producing here, so that factory will be running more often. Once we get most of, actually all the items we're producing here into storages, we can actually go delete our starter factory and starter steel factory and oil stuff. All of that stuff can be deleted and we can kind of revamp the whole area into more purposeful factories and actually build factories, not little pancake layers, you know? I'm looking at you, steel factory. We have been hard at work on the stream doing a bunch of different tasks. But the biggest change right here is this whole area. It looks a lot different. So to start, we did kind of detail the top of the storage area because this whole area basically needs to be closed off so we don't see any of the logistics and whatnot, and that way the walls actually go up to the roof, things like that. This isn't totally done, but it is a start to kind of see what this might look like. We started adding display signs and whatnot. Again, not everything is done. But I kept with the kind of pink-ish color theme, and I'll show it with Lumen on in just a second, but I just want to show kind of the whole progress first. And then we cut off the walkway so we can no longer enter through here into the train station area. We have a nice viewing platform. This will all be changed to coated concrete. We have a nice viewing platform for when our trucks are driving through down there. And this is the command room, I guess, or power room, or what will be that. I kind of started setting up some power stuff here, light switch controls, things like that. And I have a little access port for now just so I can hop in and out. But we have doors, different areas into our walkways for our train stations. Walkways still need to be done, but this kind of gives you a better idea of what this room might look like once we get walkways in between all of the train stations. We'll need to detail this wall and definitely add lights throughout this whole area, at least on the walkways, but that will come with time. I started trying to add a little bit of detail into here, but again, this is taking a long time to build this, so bear with me. And this is currently what the room looks like when it's at night. During the day, the color is definitely different just because we have a lot of natural sunlight coming through, things like that. The other room is going to look different just because it is a closed off room. There's no skylights or anything like that, but it is a work in progress. Again, we're designing everything with that lumen in mind and trying to work out lighting angles, things like that. But I'm switching between tasks obviously because I cannot stay on one task for that long. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what this would look like with lumen on currently. All right, and a little bit of an update. I switched back to our truck logistic area and I kind of started throwing down a little bit of a road here. I really did want a lit road, as again we're designing with lumen in mind, so I decided to use some street lights. I made a little bit of a blueprint for this, as you can see, like this, and it's just snapped onto each other, super easy. And we're going all the way down here with this blueprint. An opinion that I have voiced on our streams is maybe entertaining the idea of having a catwalk or a separate express line up on the wall here actually for factory carts. Now factory carts are not super useful in logistic transportation, but for small throughput items, like I said, such as computers, it might actually work better because they don't also require any fuel. There are some perks to them, so we might entertain that idea once we get some more of the basics of the building down. Kind of looking forward to it. But the other thing that we do also need to do is get our space elevator over here, because we're kind of looking to also figure out the spacing on that and make sure everything fits properly, and then we have enough space to incorporate that into the build. And I figured that if we're going to be placing down the space elevator over here, might as well show the animation, because I know a lot of people, this is their favorite animation in the game. Very fun. And something else I did spend a little time on, a little busy work time, was just getting at least some of the foundation done. Now this will probably be detailed more because it does look a little basic and whatnot and super flat, but I wanted at least some sort of foundation to at least start going around the building so that overall it'll look more like a building. One of the few things that we won't get done for sure in this episode is the east wall where all the trains will come in, because I'm honestly not sure how the network is going to connect, and I don't really want to make the building and then deal with the network. It's actually, I feel like, going to be easier to do it the other way, making the train rails come in and then kind of build around that. So that won't be done today, just for ease of building. Ignore the awesome sink, that's temporary. It's not going to stay there obviously, but I want to make sure that I have logistic room flowing because it is a sushi belt for all of our stored items. I want to make sure any excess is not clogging up the line, but this will be moved eventually. And taking a wee bit of a gander around the build, it's starting to look more like a building and not like some floating pancake layers with some machines on them. So that's cool. The thing I'm having the hardest time with is blending this whole front area, because I'm going to deem this as the front, and blending this whole area is actually proving to be more difficult than I anticipated, so it's taking a bit more time, so we might not get this done today, but the overall form and shape of the building, and actually a lot of the detail is getting done, which is cool. Obviously, we're going to be removing all the scaffolding, and we're probably going to redesign this little window wall thing, because I do not like it, and I actually don't think it fits with the build, so we're going to redesign that. But yeah, I'm liking the progress so far. It's looking pretty good. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the last few hours on stream haven't been the most productive I've ever been. We do have some things done, like our walkways are too high now, kind of in between all of our train stations. I think I did actually mess up one of my calculations on the spacing, and we're gonna have to make this walkway just big because I don't really want to replace everything. But I am entertaining the idea of the glass kind of tunnel for the trains to move around in, and I just gotta figure out how that's gonna work blending into each train station. But I think we could probably make it look pretty good. But yeah, most of the logistic area of the trains is now done for the most part. Kind of a rough map of what we need and where things will go. But hey, progress is progress. All the foundations over here are now coated concrete, but we still do need a wall here, obviously, and we need to make sure the outside is walkable for us safely so we don't get ran over by any trucks trying to run around the building over here. And there's going to be tons of small details that are not going to be done soon, like all of the corners on all of the pillars and the walkways all need to be kind of flushed up together, so that's going to take some time. We're probably going to have to do some interior designing for the production floor, things like that. But the overall shape of the build is actually kind of coming together. And then obviously we still need a little glass up here. So there's tons of little things that we have to do. Okay, and we actually were just like running around here, and I decided that this whole area definitely needed something. I needed it to be not like a little square L that was all bare and whatnot. So I decided to add these angled pillars that kind of incorporate some of the, angled aspects of the build, along with, we have the beams over there. So I think it kind of blends well and adds more to the factory, keeps it a bit more consistent, because I don't want like one-off designs everywhere, and I think it looks pretty cool. And again, this is blueprinted. Super easy, just 3 beams per blueprint, very easy to do. And just a little update on the train room, I did end up grabbing the materials to throw down more train cargo bays and whatnot. So these are kind of like, I think at this point, ready. I have some railways for the walkways, but I don't know if this will stay just because they're not super obvious, but we might need to just add a beam onto these or pillar at the bottom to make it a bit more obvious where the walkways are. Okay, and kind of one of the last things of this episode that I wanted to get done was kind of filling out the production floor walls, and I started adding these little entryways onto a catwalk. This kind of completes the original idea that I had for this production way, which we have a catwalk and access ways, things like that. We can move around freely, and we don't have to worry about getting ran over by trucks, because I've had that happen enough to me this playthrough already. And again, I don't want to just bombard you with just the boring, monotonous details of every little thing that I'm placing and whatnot, to show you the overall concept of the things we're doing over on the stream. Obviously, this walkway is not done because we don't have nearly enough access points, because I don't want to have to run across the whole building just to get into the production floor. But I think you guys can see the idea and vision of having some entrances onto the catwalk and being able to freely move around. Another thing is I was trying to figure out a way to get the logistics from down here up to the next logistic floor for the storage. And I decided to do a showcase conveyor wall showing all the materials that are kind of going around the building and whatnot. And this should be enough room for pretty much all the items. And the one benefit of having these logistic floors is that we're actually like right underneath the space elevator right now. But because we have that logistic floor and that extra room, we can hide all that. We don't have to worry about having or needing the space for that, which is pretty helpful. I haven't connected everything, as you can see, still have some excess items that need to be plugged in, like our steel pipes and whatnot. But I think once we add some lights and stuff like that, it's going to look really good here. But I think that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy it, please leave a like, comment your favorite part, and let me know future projects you guys might be interested in seeing. And a few quick things. Hopefully within the next couple of videos, I'll be able to announce a Discord. I know multiple people have been asking about a Discord or sharing their own builds. And yes, I do plan on doing that. So hopefully soon. And then as long as you guys are okay with it, I would like to do community showcases. But that's it for me today. Have a good rest of your day or night, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
I'm slick with words, tongue sharp, you left in thirds. You pitching verbs, I knock it out, I'm flipping birds. While smoking herbs, I'm blocking out what often hurts.